Welcome to Coastside Poetry. Thanks to those of you who've zoomed in and those who are watching on YouTube. We meet either physically or virtually on the second Tuesday of every month to celebrate spoken poetry. I'm Diane Lee Mumi, and Steve Long and I are your hosts this evening. Our featured poet event is being recorded and streamed live onto YouTube as we speak, so anyone can look at it later. We'll be posting the link on our website, coastsidepoetry.org. This evening, we welcome San Francisco poet and curator of the weekly Sacred Grounds reading series, Dan Brady. Dan says, "I love writing. It's great fun, good for the heart, mind, and health. I'm fascinated by how words fit together, chime, rhyme, and flow from one to the next. I write because I cannot be silent. How could one be in this world? I have a theory. The right set of words presented in the right setting is one of the ways civilization evolves. I ever improve my craft and seek such words so, should the opportunity arise, I'll present that which may transform my life and or the lives of others. Poetry explores the formless as it becomes form. It is the art of channeling creation, making sense of what is beyond sense, and a calling as eternal as any answer. Now, please welcome Dan."
Wow, thank you for that. And I'm almost completely ready. I was going to post something in the chat and I forgot to organize that, but I'll put that in at the end. So thank you, Diane, for this, and also to everyone who is here, and the person behind the scenes, the magician back there, who is just getting things organized. So there's a theme here, a couple of things. Oh, get my timer going here. So long term, things of the long term. And so a lot of the pieces in the theme tonight will have to do with long-term perspectives. I have an option, I'm going to exercise an option to share my screen because there are some haiku that demonstrate a new way or a different way of writing. And when I share my screen and read the haiku, you'll see what I mean by that. So without further ado or don't, thank you again for being here. I hope this works well for you. So Valentine's Day, first poem is a piece for my wife, Wendy. Were it not for her eyes upon me, in that one intimate moment with mine upon hers, both of ours seeing in and through one another's, reflecting, were it not for this one moment, where we were, as we have always been, together, so perfect, still, on that one day, one morning, where in one small moment, we found more than can be found in all the eternities which came before, as well as those that will certainly come after. In that moment, were it not for her eyes upon me, in joy, in love, in the presence of all we hold dear, all we indeed hold of this world. Oh, yes. For I might have wondered, were it not for her eyes then and there, what would have become of me without all that? And now these poems, some of them touch on relationships in the positive and the troublesome sense. So you'll see about that. These haiku don't require the share screen sharing. So I think of these in terms of relationships. First, that which you take to mind becomes you more and more until it is your blind. Okay. And I'm sure people have been through this experience. How a day goes down hell. One word at a time, when none was enough to start with. And then this one. If a man deep in the forest mansplains, does it matter? Someone like that. That's my sense of humor. And this is um, another hike, literal relationship hike. You know, a woman's ire is never done. You know. And now this cleans the palate. Essential beauty may well be unseen, but never fades, nor is it forgotten. So we move on to the exterior realms. Again, long-term things here. This is called time. Time comes and goes almost unnoticed, unremarkable, except for the changes we seem to think come and go with it. What a strange concept, which is to say, untrue. So much so that we'd have to invent the concurrence for our own sakes, not to mention those of others. Magicians use this feat all the time, and we, the duped, ever and always find no end of fascination with what they'd have us see. Truth be damned. That's for all those politicians out there. Now, this one is a short piece written long, long ago, but it segues into long-term more clearly, as you shall see. This is called Death and Ode. This cold kiss, most desirous and dizzy, the finished flesh lay still and gray, falls off the bone, the skeleton a trophy of scars. Its mask, dark sockets stare, a wide smile, grinning, jaws locked. So you can see we're in this long-term thing here. Now, this poem was created as a prose piece originally because someone asked me to write a bit about who influenced me. And as I was writing this, it started rhyming and the poem came out of it. So, and again, it's one of them long-term things. So here we go. It's called Angels because the original thing was called Angels and I haven't changed the title. How and when does a story begin? How are we to know? When I think on it, any tale, no matter its size, must begin long ago. So when asked who influenced me, I gave my friend this analogy. Consider a stream, I said, even a small one near to hand. Is not its course ever guided by the contours of the land? Is it not deflected by every rock, bit of soil, or living thing with which it coexists before and after the stony lip of its spring? And are not all these things but a postscript proceeding from a source which charges the nature of the stream and so affects its discourse? Nor should I fail to say that forests and men alike surely do amend it, for its worth is clear to those temporal beings who can apprehend it. But the fishes and all the living things cannot be the stream, nor for that matter can it be the water, or so it would seem, for the flow is ever carried off, even as we watch, for sport, whether by evaporation or gravity's simple transport. It's surely not its path, or the things it has carried off, nor could it be its remains, a shallow, drying trough. A stream, then, is a time and place dependent upon conditions which, if the truth be told, have utmost antiquity as its origins. Preconditions, which, if they be scientifically analyzed withal, stretch back to the beginnings of time and matter, immemorial. And perforce, do they not, I waxed, extend to onward in time until the very edge of doom itself. Imagine a stream so sublime. And so, full circle I came as my analogy found its end. What are the credits I should roll to answer, my friend? No less than everyone who has ever been or may yet be. Nothing less than that full chorus, say I, have clearly influenced me. You know, we all go back. That's what my brother used to say. We all go back to the beginning. And so this is another piece that has to do with large scale things. And there may be some people in the audience who remember Carlos Ramirez. I don't know, but he was a friend of mine and a poet. Yes, Mark remembers the name. And although this was written shortly after his death, it was in process while he was concluding. And I believe he would appreciate this poem. So I write this poem in honor of him and I read it. And I always mention his name. This is called Worlds. Worlds. And it's an optimistic piece. Oh, my friend, there are worlds and good ones. Beautiful worlds, so wondrous and full of marvels as to make one weep. There are worlds where peace is all there is, and nature is let to run rampant. The verge is rank with skies and seas full of life. Animals who see your soul's light with hearts innocent of fear or rage. There are worlds gowned in clouds of delight, graced with rivers of love, where ranges upon ranges of emotional peace rest under the glowing countenance of their moons dancing in the firmament. Worlds such as songs are made of, as epic poems might suit, where painters upon an overlook could gaze at a life's work set before them. Where God is happy, life tame, and where we'd all be glad to be, were we there instead of where we are, dazed and confused by our own earthly illusions. I say, forsake fight and flight. Let go of want, our past histories of unending sorrows, poor reasoning, and martial drums. For there are worlds, this poor scribbler asserts, no artist could hope to convey without a proper preparation. A long, restful life of enjoyment, a million-year picnic. Then they could provide a semblance of one such world. So it is, I tell you, this is a magnificent universe, well made and fit for who but us? Well, or those of our kind. It is like the mystical Ganges with its endless beaches, where each glowing sand grain is a full repository of galaxies strung like beads set in a glowing firmament of stardust. So there are worlds. And then there's us and our longing, our song, so profoundly deep and unending that even this grand universe and all of its works couldn't possibly contain it, or so I feel. Thank you. So I'm going to share the screen now because the haiku that I'm going to read have, oh, wait a minute. Did I do something? Oh, no, that's right. I'm in the right place. Okay, good. All right. So let me share the screen because these haikus, some of them have a quality that you might find interesting or fascinating. So you can see that. All right. So first we cover some political garbage. And this one is, think of the terms Trump and hump, or is that too much information? Which I think it might be. Okay, scroll down now. This is where the thing I was talking about. You'll notice the parenthetical terms here. Inside the first line, you'll see rump and dump and test. Okay. Second line, you see the words in and war. The way these are read, you just read the words, but in the mind, you read the parenthetical things first. So this reads rump, dump, test. Trumpty Dumpty's MAGA mask protesters in war, winning all their Darwin Awards. Now, for those of you who don't know what Darwin Awards, it's a spoofish kind of award system that provides recognition for those individuals who remove themselves from the gene pool by their own acts of egregious ignorance or stupidity. Thus, the MAGA mask protesters and like that. Let's move on here. And this also relates to Trump, and you can see the parentheticals are actually, synonyms. So this reads, "Oh, you, would the military please perceive POTUS plus Peter principle produces prolonged problems." And the Peter principle, for those people who do not know that, that's a term for those people who rise to the level of their incompetence, which I think is relevant. Okay. And this is very clear. Lassitude in the face of malevolent minds dealing digital death. That's modern warfare for you. And then this, just in case you forget, the ghost of Marley speaks. Our chain rattles with its strong boxes, links to empires of the past. And, that's where heritage comes. Let me see, there's 3 more here. Oh, yes. Now, this one is more complex. You can see that this one is nested several times. And it reads, "You ruin us, ruin us. Hell bent, head on fire, a flop, frat boy, belly flops again." So the parentheticals are representative either of homonyms or initials or things like that. It leads to an interesting 3-dimensional style. And this is one of the most horrific ones. It reads, "I invest men, investment, lions of Stalingrad, millions fell. There, oh, there still their tolls to tell." The history of that particular event, absolutely stunning in many, many ways. But it's my honoring of all those who fought there against the tide of evil and hell. And then this one. Again, nested words. This means either heir, like heir to the throne, or heir, like as in before, or heir, A-I-R, depends on how you want to read it. It reads, heir their invoice, oh, woe, 250,000 young Russian women, a red stamp received. Now, these are documents that were found, and this particular one was an invoice for 250,000 young Russian women received as delivered from the Russian front. And then this one, the parade, crowds cheer, the grim reaper waving supports everyone's troops. Followed by smoky battleground, corpses strewn, a medallion's glint, the long justice of silence. And I'm going to stop sharing there and go back to this poem, which I'll conclude with, because it is long-term, yet also optimistic. Light, light, light. From the start of this universe until now, there has always been the light. Clearly, it is an essential factor, for what else do we all come to, both eventually and aright? But the light, light, light. No thing overshadows this. It's what moves this poor body, causing my fingers to trace such moments as this, counsels the passion of coursing my heart well, and what so enlivens my giddy soul tonight, but the light, light, light. Terms cannot describe or contain this. Actions provide mere indications. Lyrics might bear it, so long as the breath bears them. Nothing temporal can truly be seen without it, and all things eternal are made up only of it. What else moves us within so as to create without, passing for inspiration's sight, the light, light, light. And so in the deep, cold world of winter, when the sullen, lifeless, and leaden heavens occlude the hope of the celestial bodies, when the landscape beneath is set in a monochromatic display, yes, fish may still seize the day beneath their ice. Yes, furtive, burrowing survivors do abide, and the heart of an owl harbors its heated blood as it wings down silently after sighting its prey. Dark talons clutch the unwary, luckless, where blood spatters on moonlit white. What else rules there but the light, light, light? What muffles the tolling bell better than distance and time? What rings it ever clearer to echo in the mind? What's the message it means to send all these years later? What do I do by telling you this? Why do such words as these make their way here? What makes a singular difference, no matter how seemingly slight? But the light, light, light. Now, when death is no longer that distant, dismissed threat, but present, promised, and immediately certain, your intimate companion, if you will, waiting on you, so to speak, hand and foot, what will move still until that very last? What makes its essential difference felt? What else is there to keep in sight but the light, light, light? I thank you for this opportunity, and I'm so glad to be here, Diane. Thank you so much, and I appreciate sharing. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, we're delighted to have you here, and like to invite folks to unmute and make happy noises.
Light, light, light.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Beautiful.
Oh, boy. Thank you.
Mm. Yeah, gorgeous.
Wow. I did rehearse, so that's why it sounded as well as it did. Thank you so much, everyone. What a beautiful set of individuals are here, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the poems. So that's going to be great. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
I hope I reminded you that we do like our features to have. I just heard a funny noise. I hope I reminded you, Dan, that we do love to have our features give us one poem at the end after the open mic.
Yes, I have that in mind. And thank you for all the information you gave me. It made this so smooth.
Yes.
This is a well-run venue, folks.
I learned a lot from you too. Like you have things really well organized. Oh, we could do that for ours.
Yes. And when I go to other open mics like this, I see things that they do and they go, oh, I'm going to add that. So thank you so much. I'm going to mute myself now because otherwise I'll forget.
Okay. And well, we'll stop recording in a moment then. Those of you in the Zoom room, please stay online if you'd like to take part in the open mic. And thanks to all our YouTube listeners. And please tune in for our next regular Coastside Poetry event on Tuesday, March 14th, when we'll welcome Berkeley poet and curator of Bay Area Poets Coalition monthly reading series, John Rowe.
Oh, wow.
So thanks so much for joining us at Coastside Poetry and for helping to keep the lamps of poetry burning.